you, everybody, for a great session. Truly inspiring, even late in the afternoon when fatigue is setting in. But wait, you in the audience, don't go quite yet. We saw a precipitous drop off at the end of last year's session, like a rock plummeting from the sky. But hold on, because we do want to make a plea for you to donate to the conference. If somebody could share that donation link in the Slido, I'd appreciate it. We didn't charge any fee this year, but our costs were substantial. And so we would appreciate those of you who are able to donate whatever you can. No donation is too small or too large, as a matter of fact. So I'm just going to make a plug for that soon. So we'll put that in the chat again. And now we are going to start our closing remarks, which Zainab has shared already. Yay. All right. Zainab, am I starting or are you?
You are starting, so feel free to take it away.
Okay. This is so this is our word cloud from the day. This is the first that I'm actually seeing it. We've got, no surprise, the most common words here in the center: disability accommodations, medical disabilities. I think we're going to have to look around the edges to find some treasures. I see the word support in there, which is obviously very important in our field. It's important to support one another. Colleagues are important. Critical, as a matter of fact. Excellent, I'll take that, thank you. Boy, this doesn't usually have, there's one that says love. All right, let's keep going. Focus on that one, love. So some takeaway points that I thought were particularly powerful today. For example, when asking for accommodations, ask for the full degree of your needs. Do not minimize your asks in fear of being denied. That was an excellent point by Mary J. Goodwin Okindo. I mean, if they're going to negotiate with you, it's better to start high anyways. But this is really good advice. Don't be afraid to assert your rights. Next. Justin Bullock said, one voice can be enough to spark institutional change. You know, if you're out there at a school and you think that you're an N of one, I would say that, first of all, you are likely not. You just need to snoop around and find some allies. In the meantime, you have allies on the national stage and groups that are starting up, such as medical students with disability and chronic illness. And the people who have spoken at today's conference are also potential sources of information and support. Ableism exists and impacts individuals from birth, and we are always losing great potential future healthcare providers to the roadblocks of ableism. And this speaks to, the real life impact that ableism has on us from even as a society, our potential and our growth. Keep going.
Thank you, Pete. And so continuing with some of our takeaway points from our session on advocacy, it is better to start small than not at all. And so in the breakouts, as well as from some of the questions, we know there are several schools out there, there are several institutions out there who see the opportunity for disability advocacy, who see the opportunity for change. And it can be overwhelming, but I think we've shown in our examples, and we've definitely learned along the way, that just getting started is a very big first step. And even if that is the smallest point on your list of potential changes, that matters, and it starts creating traction for future change. And the other point we thought was really meaningful was to see the power in shared identities, values, and beliefs. Intersectional advocacy can make bigger waves than working in silos. And you guys heard this both from Harvard and from our team at Stanford, that really being conscientiously intersectional in the partnerships that we pursued and in the avenues through which we did our work, it can make a very big difference. And there is enough of the pie to go around within the disability and diversity initiatives, and pulling together, having that shared advocacy power can strengthen the efforts on all teams, as opposed to working in opposition or in isolated pathways. From our most recent session, Bonnie mentioned we treasure what we measure, and disability data is the key to achieving diversity, equity, and inclusion for people with disabilities. And so, like Dr. Meeks mentioned at the very end of her talk, be active in the research. If you're receiving studies, it's a great chance for you to be part of the movement by sharing your data, sharing your experiences, giving data so that there is concrete evidence to push forward disability narratives. And if you're interested, getting involved in research yourself. Okay, so final takeaway point is to move away from a combination model to a disability justice model. And that's just what we want to leave you guys with, something to think about, and hopefully enact moving forward in your own work and what we aspire to do as a disability advocacy community as a whole. And so we can't end this conference without giving a very big thank you to the many, many folks. Katie, Amy, Denise, Ashley, and Sheila did a fantastic job in organizing the logistics for today and getting everything running smoothly. They deserve a huge thank you. Our planning committee, who came up with the session topics and the speaker choices, Keen, Doug, Nina, Lewis.
I'd like to thank the authors of the case studies, especially myself, just kidding, Zainab, Mary J. Goodwin Akendo, Lewis and Nina and Harika, put in a lot of time and effort into making these realistic and composing good discussion questions. Next. The majority of the financial sponsorship of this event came from the Inclusion, Diversity, and Health Equity Office. And I'd like to thank Barbara Hardy, who is the Chief Diversity Officer at Stanford Healthcare, as well as Anna Dapolo Garcia and Amy Ho for all of their support and for their support in making ERG events at Stanford more accessible with closed captioning and ASL now for all events. Next slide. The Department of Radiology, our chairman, our interim chairman, Dr. Gary Gold, our vice chair, David Larson, my section chief, Brooke Jeffrey, and our DFA, Yunting Ye, who have been nothing but supportive with me and in getting me time off the clinical schedule to devote to this SMAC work, for recognizing its importance and encouraging me to grow in this role. Next slide. From the Office of Faculty Development and Diversity of Bonnie Maldonado and Magali Faciotto, who also are a strong financial supporter and also worked very closely with me in developing our disability survey that we completed in December. Thanks also to the Faculty Senate Diversity Subcommittee, with special thanks to Dr. Iris Gibbs, who inspired the formation of SMAC and has supported it and continues to support it along the way. And thank you for being a visionary and a leader in this arena. And thank you to my other subcommittee members for their enthusiasm and support. This event was also sponsored by a grant that the MSDCI actually received from the Stanford Office of the Vice Provost for Graduate Education. This was supposed to be for last year's conference, but thankfully we were able to carry it over to this year, and we appreciate their generosity and flexibility. Thank you. Of course, the board of directors of SMAC, without which none of this would happen. It truly is a team effort, and I would love to recognize all of the colleagues who are with me in the trenches week in and week out, running the organization. Thank you. As far as our speakers go, thanks to Dean Lloyd Minor, Paul King, and David Entwistle for showing up early on a Saturday morning to provide opening remarks. I think that putting their collective influence and leadership front and center on the day of our conference was quite meaningful and much appreciated. Next. Thank you, Mary, for an enlightening session 1. We learned a lot about how to navigate the system and how to find a lawyer who's on your side. You'll be probably getting a lot of emails after this conference. Next. Also, special thanks to Michael Argeni on the top left there, who is the moderator for session 2, and our 4 panelists, Diana Sejas, Walker Keenan, Payam Masaban, and Justin Bullock. I appreciate their openness and willingness to talk about these sensitive issues, especially those revolving around mental health disabilities in medicine, which are still highly stigmatized. And I think that the more we talk about this, the better that situation will get. And they are true trailblazers in talking openly about their struggles. And I know a lot of people find that very inspiring. Next. My co-presenters for session 3, Zainab Dinani, who is another one of my inspirations. Her creativity, hard work, and tenacity are very respected. And to our colleagues, Dorothy and Logan at Harvard, they've been incredible teammates also, and I learned so much from them. Next, please. The speakers for session 4, thank you, Lisa, for moderating the session and for being such an inspirational friend and mentor and taking me under your wings. And a special thanks to Mike Kim, Bonnie Lynn Sweener, Richie Sapp, Corey Poffenberger, and Neera Jain. Corey, we're going to miss you. I can't believe you're leaving. Makes me quite sad and angry, but I won't take it out on you. I know it's best. Neera, I just want to say that I feel especially indebted to you for the work that you're doing. I spent many nights reading your thesis and with my dictionary in hand, trying to learn the difference between epistemology and ontology, which I still don't quite understand. But your premise of moving beyond accommodations and transitioning to a disability justice framework paves the road to the future for those of us who are working hard in this space. So thank you for that. And keep going. And to all of our breakout room moderators, your help was also much appreciated. Next slide. Next slide. Oh, wait, no, not next slide. This is our volunteer group. A lot of people signed up to work today, just behind the scenes, manning email, manning Slido, sending us text messages with questions from the audience, and giving generously their Saturday up for a good cause. So to everyone on this slide, Dakeen, Ailey, Maganie, Heidi, Nina, Shayla, Sarah, Lorena, Doug, Anna, Majiza, Sarah, Kate, Ken, and Maite. Thank you very much. Thanks to me and Zainab. Next slide. This is little Dean. This is my new addition this year. So last summer, my wife was pregnant, and then in July we had little Dean, and he's the force that keeps me away from my laptop after hours and on weekends. So I thank him for that. And I think that is our last slide. So we can unshare the deck. And yes, so it is 4:27 p.m. I'm finished 3 minutes ahead of schedule. We next up on the agenda is our happy hour session. So the link to the happy hour should be somewhere in the chat, hopefully. We hope that many of you will be able to join us. Sorry, I'm like so tired right now. Like can barely talk. Thank you to everyone who spent their Saturday with us. We know your time is valuable and your families are valuable. And we thank you very much for your support and your generosity with your time. And I encourage all of you to go to the happy hour and hang out and share your reflections from the day and maybe just decompress with some friends. So I think that we're going to end this. Do we have a ending slide that has any information on it for the group? For those of you who want or need or desire CME, this is the information. Go to the evaluation link here, sign in using your email and password or create a new account. And we are accredited for 6.0 AMA Category 1 credits for physicians, nurses, occupational therapists, and physical therapists, I believe. So please claim your CME if you are eligible. You deserve it for spending all of this time on your Saturday. And thanks to the CME department for their accreditation. And don't forget to donate.